there is no Thanksgiving music. Am I incorrect in saying that? There's obviously Christmas music, I guess 4th of July music, just list the country or rock music, I guess. And of Halloween music for sure. There's no Thanksgiving music. There's no space in the market for turkey-based music anymore. We need that. And maybe that's a role that I fill for you guys. Big stretch and go. It is First and Tuna time, everybody. Welcome to the Thanksgiving edition of the First and Tuna podcast. I'm your manic, your gracious, your handsome host, Big Tuna himself. As you can tell, I've got a manic energy to me. I'm excited. It's Thanksgiving week. Normally, it's not one of my favorite holidays, but because of the amount of good football that we have the next 48 hours, I am pumped. For me, for you, for the world. If this is your guys' first time here, remember this is the Northern California podcast for you Rams, Raiders, Niners, and Chargers fans alike. We cover those 4 teams because that's what all my friends like to root for. And this is not just for the football nerd like me. It's for the football noob, where we try to teach you guys a little something new, get you caught up, help you fall in love with the game as much as us nerds do. Welcome back. Like I said, it's Thanksgiving week. Big week. We got the 3 Fs. Food, family, football. What more can you guys not want? And on top of that, it is a full slate because I don't think any teams have any bye weeks. So we've got 3 games tomorrow, the Black Friday game, and then Sunday, every other team is playing. And then on top of that, if you like college football, huge game. I'd say game of the year. You've got Ohio State, Michigan, both in the top 4. Loser is probably not going to have a chance in the playoffs. And you have a controversy with John Harbaugh as well, or Jim Harbaugh, one of the Harbaugh brothers. But just the next 4 to 5 days, just slammed with football when you're not forcing food down your face. A lot of Fs, food, family, forcing food, football, all that nonsense, just for you guys. And I'm hoping I can get you a little bit excited if you haven't been already. I know it's kind of a little crazy out there. People are trying to, get ready for Black Friday shopping, get the food together for tomorrow, running around the grocery store, taking care of kids. When it's all said and done, I really do hope that you guys all get a chance to sit down, enjoy some family, have some laughs. And if you are a nerd like me, like I'm hoping all of you coming to this podcast are, we're enjoying some football. So let's start jumping into it. What do I have for you guys today? Normally we go through news and rants and see what Tuna is upset about. I'm thankful for. We're going to try to spread some positivity. Even if there's something negative, we're going to twist into something positive because I'm thankful for it. And not just me, though. We have some fans send in what they're grateful for. So I'll make sure to cover those topics. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. We've got our player of the week that we're going to find a turkey-themed name for. Right now I've got Goblin Gobbler, which, pause. Yeah, sounds like a terrible name, so I will change that. And then, obviously, we've got our 4 teams. All I have is some interesting narratives happening. I'm going to try to touch on those a little bit. I don't want to get too deep in the woods or too deep in the weeds just because we're on limited time. You guys probably got tonight, a little bit tomorrow morning to watch this video. And I want you guys to go on, enjoy your football, and not have to worry about, let me watch Tuna's podcast. And on theme, if you haven't noticed behind me, normally we've got just a little First and Tuna logo here, but we've got some brilliant, cute, amazing turkey-themed mascots. Compliments of @CornDoggyLol. If you have not followed him yet, you're fucking up. You need to. Instagram is @CornDoggyLol. Link to his website and all his drawings, all his merch is going to be in the description below on this YouTube video. Please subscribe to his content as well. There's a reason why we partner with him. His artwork is amazing. He's responsible for anything artwork you see on this podcast week in and week out. Thank you, CornDoggy. In honor of Thanksgiving, because this is the time of year we're supposed to sit down, sit with our family, our loved ones, be thankful for things that we have, thankful for the things we don't have, but we may have them at some point, or something super inspirational like that. Let's just jump into what I'm thankful for this football season. Well, the first one is probably some of the biggest news. We've talked about it week in and week out on this podcast because it involves the Chargers. It's their head coach, Coach Staley. What am I thankful for? So he had some mean things to say about his own team. I guess kind of mean. If you twist it that way, it wasn't the nicest the way he was talking to that reporter. Take a look.
Kind of significant changes. You keep saying the same things, doing the same things. I have full confidence, like I've told you, and like I've told you from the beginning, I have full confidence in our way of playing. Full confidence in myself as the play caller, in the way that we teach, and the way that we scheme. Full confidence in that. We got to bring this group together and do it consistently, okay? And that's where it's at. So you can stop asking that question, okay? I'm going to be calling the defenses, okay? So we're clear. So you don't have to ask that again.
So why am I thankful for this clip? Why am I thankful for this happening to him this year? Well, because my own team is not the greatest, and instead of the attention being on my team, I am thankful for Coach Staley coaching the Chargers how he has and allowed the headlines to be about him and his team, so that way they're not paying attention to my team. So, Coach Staley, thank you. Continue what you're doing. I hope you stick around the rest of the season. Because it's Thanksgiving, you should be happy. So, I'm thankful for that. Speaking of my team, the Los Angeles Rams, I am thankful for Mr. Aaron Donald. Albeit my team is not the best. They do not have a winning record right now. But you know who shows up week in and week out, who is exciting to watch, who could change the game, and honestly has been a big reason of just forcing this team to the finish line in some of these games. Mr. Aaron Donald, number 99. Sir, your jersey says number 99, but you are number 1 in our hearts. Thank you for existing, for making my team somewhat exciting to watch every single week, even on the days that were just not very good. Thank you, AD. Let's look at some of the reasons why some of our fans are thankful this year. We had a Steelers fans send in. They're thankful for firing Matt Canada and that there is a God. Yes, I agree. The Steelers have been atrociously boring on offense. The offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, has been chanted at, yelled at by fans outside of even the Steelers stadium at other stadiums in other states. It's become kind of a trend, just a fun thing to yell to fire Matt Canada. Well, it finally happened. That's the beauty of living in this country, is that if you're bad at your job, you may get fired. So I'm thankful for it, along with that fan that sent it in, because of the fact, hey, that means that we may get some more exciting football, because you guys know how much I fucking hate bad football. And he has been coaching bad football. So hopefully it's more exciting. That's another team that we get to watch. And we had a Raiders fan send in from the bottom of their heart. They are so incredibly grateful, and I can't agree with them more, that the Raiders have finally gotten rid of the Wicked Witch in the West. Josh McDaniels is gone. The fact they fired him and how they went about it, how they allowed his coaching to be put on display for the world, we think that the Raiders organization got rid of him out of the NFL for good, and we are thankful for that. Because remember, we don't like bad football. We don't like it. And he coached bad football, same as Canada. So I agree with you, anonymous Raiders fan. Yes, we are thankful for that. And CornDoggy himself said that he is thankful for Coach Pete Carroll. As being a Seahawks fan, he has brought a lot of success to your team. I can see that. He is one of the more successful coaches probably in the last 2 decades. Won a Super Bowl, went to another one. The way he chews gum, though, is pretty aggressive. But I am thankful to have a coach like that as well in the NFC West. Makes games exciting. He coaches good football. And then on top of that, CornDoggy said he's thankful for the people. Thankful for the fans. He has a big following. People on Reddit, on Instagram. Hell, he's been on the Pat McAfee show with his artwork. He is grateful for all those people that follow him. Fan of the show and my rival all throughout the season in our Pick'em bet, Malik said he's grateful that his team is in the number 1 AFC position right now. The Baltimore Ravens are number 1 after the Chiefs lost, so he's thankful for that. And on top of that, he's healthy for a healthy Lamar Jackson. If you guys haven't followed, he's had some injury woes the last year or two, ever since his 2019 MVP campaign. He is, if not the most exciting offensive player in the league. An MVP candidate this year as well, and the fact he's healthy bodes well for the Ravens Super Bowl chances. So I agree. I'm grateful for that too, because the league is worse when you don't have those exciting players. I hope he stays healthy. I hope they go on the run. They're one of my picks for favorites to go to the Super Bowl this year as well. Other friend of the show, Mr. Joe, sent in. He said he's thankful for Brock Purdy and his elbow recovery. He seems to be back to what he was last year and progressing. I agree. As much as I hate to say it, we've talked about it on this podcast a few weeks at a time. Brock Purdy, call him what you want. You can call him a game manager. You can call him an actual, should have been a number 1 overall pick type player, even though he was picked last in the draft for one reason or another. look at his stats. He is number one across a number of categories. He is playing better than your favorite player, to be honest. And the fact that his favorite team has a quarterback operating that way, I'd be grateful too. I'm not grateful for them being in my division, but I am grateful for good football, like I said. Hot take, I think the NFL is a better place when teams like the 49ers and the Raiders are good football teams because they're cornerstone franchises with a lot of fans, and it makes the game a little bit more exciting. So I'm thankful that you're thankful, Joe. And last but not least, our last viewer entry, Angelica and Brenda said that they are thankful for Burrow Baby because he's such a cutie. And I can't believe I just said those words on the internet. Yes, Joe Burrow is a favorite. Unfortunately, he's hurt right now. So I think we have some Swifties that are not really following what's happening, but that's okay. Joe Burrow is a cutie. I will say that. I'm comfortable with myself. He's a cutie patootie, but he's out for the season. So it does bode poorly for the Bengals and their Super Bowl hopes this year. And last personal one for me, I am thankful for all of you, for all my viewers, for my friends. Like I said, last week was my highest viewing show. For someone who's just starting this, out the office room of their home, doing this for fun, having close to 150 views for me, that was huge. Because I thought I had 5 people every week watching these episodes outside of myself. So it's super awesome to see. The feedback's been super awesome. All my friends, you guys seem to be having fun with it. Looking to continue to grow, and hopefully I can keep making this fun for you guys. We also have the blog that keeps growing. So tell me what you guys like, what you don't like. That way we can cater this to both those of you that are nerds like me and those of you that are trying to learn the game a little bit more. So that's all that I'm thankful for. These are things that I'm thinking about week in and week out as we go on through the season, and things that I'm going to be thankful for as I'm eating that big, fat plate of Thanksgiving food tomorrow. And begrudgingly, I will quickly show how we're progressing with these season-long pick'ems. I can't stand you, MVS, for dropping that touchdown for the Chiefs, because that was a tiebreaker for my week last week. So here it is. Here's the picks. There they are. Yappy Malik, I showed him. I'm not happy. I'm down too many games with not enough weeks left. So let's continue. Let's talk about our player of the week. Gobbling Gobbler, or Rambling Turkey. I don't know what to call it. I can't even talk straight because I can't think of a turkey-themed name. Our player of the week, Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco 49ers wide receiver, had a big game. He was the biggest recipient on the tail end of having the stars back. Like we talked about, Trent Williams being back, Deebo Samuel being back. Coming off the bye week, Brock Purdy kind of get his mind right. Niners were facing potentially a 4-game losing streak playing against the Bucs. They handled business, no problem. Brandon Ayuk had probably one of the top plays of the week. I think it was like a 70-yard touchdown or 80-yard touchdown from Brock Purdy. And a big part of that is, one, Brock Purdy is just playing out of his mind as well. Brandon Ayuk seems to be open all the time, but he seems to thrive even more when you get Deebo Samuel on the field, because he's such a huge threat just to have the ball at any point. Opens up the field for him. He took care of business. That's our player of the week. I hate having 49ers players of the week. It leaves such a bad taste in my mouth, but there you go. Staying on topic with the 49ers, they made easy work of the Buccaneers. Coming off their big win against the Jaguars, where they completely smoked them last week. They're now on a 2-game winning streak following that bye week and that 3-game losing streak. The question was, can they turn it around? What's going to happen? They're just fine. I don't think there's any reason to overreact. This team is the most talented. They're getting healthy at the right time. And Brock Purdy should be an MVP candidate. That's the big narrative coming out of this. He had a perfect passer rating, which means basically he did no wrong. Basically threw a few incompletions. No big deal. Had one of the plays of the week, his long touchdown over to Brandon Ayuk. Threw 3 touchdowns. The conversation, if you've been watching any of the ESPN sites, is the fact he's just a game manager. He's not like a superstar talent like a Patrick Mahomes or a Lamar Jackson. He's not flashy. And it's perceived that because the 49ers system and their talented team do all the work for him, that basically he just has to manage and just, get through the play, dump the ball off to a player, let them do all the work, is kind of dumb. Like I can kind of see where that's coming from, because it is true. He doesn't have to do anything extraneous like a lot of other players may have to. He shouldn't be penalized for his team operating well. He still has to go out there and perform. He could do this. Like, look at Jimmy Garoppolo last year. He didn't do this well. Trey Lance, it didn't look like he was going to do that well. Brock Purdy, for whatever it may mean, he is the perfect quarterback for this team. He's doing it at a high level. You don't fall into these stats. If it was 2 or 3 weeks, yeah, maybe. But as a very biased Rams fan, you have to look at his body of work through 11 games this season and say he is an MVP candidate. It may look different. It may be not as flashy. Sometimes that's what good football is. I'm sure Tom Brady had a lot of years where it kind of looked repetitive, kind of looked like it wasn't flashy. He was just getting his job done. Fuck, they're still winning 12, 13 games. When your best player at the most important position is helping you win 12 to 13 games and he's not holding you back, you have to look at him seriously as an MVP candidate. When I hear that on ESPN, I kind of turn it off. It's really dumb to hear. On the horizon for the 49ers, they have... They are one of the Thanksgiving games. So they're playing the Seahawks. The Seahawks are coming off a loss to the Rams. You're welcome, 49ers, for helping you go towards locking up the West, since we're not going to win it. But yeah, they're traveling to Seattle. Should be a good game. I think the Niners are favored by a touchdown. I think that crowd alone should spot the Seahawks a few points. This is a big game for them. It must win. If the Seahawks lose this, they're probably, at best, going to be getting that last spot in the playoffs. Ultimately, though, I really do think the 49ers are just too good. I think and hope, which sounds weird from a Rams fan, I hope the Niners win because, like I said, it will drop the Seahawks another game, helping out the Rams with their own playoff push as they're trying to sneak in and maybe get a wild card spot at the end of the year. As I'm sitting there eating my turkey leg this year, I'm really expecting a 49ers win, I think around like 24 to like 18. That's my call for this game. I think the Seahawks cover, but they do lose by almost a touchdown. All right, let's look at our Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers get served for some frozen cheese. Is that good? Is that Thanksgiving related enough? Food? No? Terrible? All right. Well, I showed you the presser a little bit earlier. Let's kind of take a look at the rest of that.
We got to do a better job of is in the passing game. And that's where our full attention is, and it's where it will continue to be. There were a lot of other things that caused us to lose today. It certainly wasn't our defense. It was the way we played as a team. We didn't play well enough on the red zone on offense. We dropped too many passes. Okay, we gave up a few killer sacks. Okay, we did this as a team. Stop making it about one unit because that's not what happened out there today. Our team.
Yeah. This has been broken down a bunch already this week. It's been torn apart on other. I'm sure you saw it on TV. I'm not a huge fan of this for a little bit different reasons. Obviously, at the forefront, it's just like he's getting mad at the reporter for asking the question. To be honest, I think the correct question from the reporter should have been, Coach Staley, are you comfortable with your job not being safe right now? How do you feel about that? Because after seeing that and seeing how he responded, not just to a reporter who's doing his job, but how it seemed like he took no accountability. It comes off as if he's passing the buck to the players, like he's doing nothing wrong. Like, hey, what I'm doing is fine. It's these guys' fault for not doing what we're saying correctly. Defense is doing just fine. We've been doing just fine. We've never had issues on this side. Either, I don't know if he's blaming the offense, offensive players, other coaches, whatever it is that you've seen enough times from successful coaches, take everything in. Whether you want to pass blame behind the scenes, that's a different story. You keep it in-house. But when it gets to this point where you're coming off as defensive, you're coming off as having lack of accountability to the public, a very basic thing as a coach, just lie better on the podium. And I don't think he can do that. It seems like he's cracking a little bit. I really hope that this is the last that we see him in Charger Blue. As much as I hate bad football, I hate bad leadership. I dislike something like this that's tone deaf and really blaming others, especially when you look at what your quarterback has done. You've got a generational talent at quarterback that's been saving your ass for the past 2 years. The stats prove that. Yeah, it truly does piss me off. I've said it for the last month that I wouldn't be surprised if he got fired the next week. I don't know if it happens this week, truly because it's Thanksgiving. I don't know how the Spanos family operates in regards to taking care of coaches, especially around the holidays. But it's not a good look. It's really terrible. I'd be ashamed if that was Coach McVay saying that about the Rams. I'd want him out personally. So this is coming from as unbiased from a spot as I can. But yeah, that's ugly. That's an ugly look. Like I said, a better question should have been, are you concerned with your job security the week of Thanksgiving? I think he should be fired for that. Positive, though, I'm trying to stay positive. Justin Herbert, man, he's shown a lot of grit. I think he's still hurt. Him getting pissed off on the field when they're getting a false start near the end of that game. He throws a dime to Quentin Johnson down the sideline in the fourth quarter and just drops it. I feel for the guy. I hope he stays in Los Angeles or San Diego, wherever they end up going to. I feel for the guy. But, man, I'm having trouble finding some positives here. Until that coach goes, it's just like we're rinse and repeat. We're going to be in the same situation. Chargers, who do they have this week? And it's not going to get any prettier just because what the Chargers have coming up, they've got the Ravens, number 1 seed in the AFC. They're firing on all cylinders. They've won tough games. They play well against good teams. This is the game where it could get very ugly very fast. I've said it 5 weeks in a row now that I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Staley would get fired. I said it if they didn't beat the Packers, it would happen. It's yet to happen as of Wednesday evening. This Ravens game could get very ugly. They could put up a lot of points on you, and the Chargers defense has shown that they can't stop a leak at this point. The Chargers are capable of putting up a lot of points. I honestly, anything short of a win, I feel like he should get fired. So here we go again, 5th or 6th week in a row, guesstimating if the Chargers coach will be here as the Chargers coach next week. My take on this, though, I think the Ravens do win. I think it ends up being a big game, 34-31 Baltimore on this one. They're a little Rammies, a little Ramathorns down in L.A. Rams late to dinner. Get another dinner themed. Please tell me you guys are enjoying these. Rams late to dinner, and what I mean by that, sloppy game the entire time. Didn't really show up until the second half. I turned this game off right after halftime because you got teams not moving the ball. Stafford looks like he's getting hurt again. Seahawks kind of doing whatever they want. Cooper Kupp leaves with an injury again. And I'm thinking, dear God, why does this keep happening to us? Thank God for one of the things that I said I was thankful for in Aaron Donald, because of him and that young defense in that second half, putting the clamps down on the Seahawks offense and keeping it a close game. This is how the Steelers, how the Browns have been winning games. Just do enough on defense to bore you, do enough to make sure their offense isn't doing jack, hoping that your offense at some point is going to wake up, and that's exactly what happened to the Rams in the fourth quarter. Ended up waking up, scoring a touchdown. Puka Nacua started taking over, going to him a little bit after Cooper Kupp went out with an injury. Run game started getting going with Royce Freeman, and RIP to Darrell Henderson. No, he didn't die, but because Kyron Williams is coming back this week, they immediately cut Darrell Henderson again. I don't know why. I think it's very stupid. Just have a backup. How hard is it? How the game ended, though, Myers, kicker for the Seahawks, he made 2 50-yarders earlier in the game. Dude's kind of money from there. He's very good. Ended up missing a game-winning field goal at the end of regulation. They lose 17-16. Yay, go Rams. Holy shit, like I said, this was a messy game. Not only were the Rams late to dinner, but they got food all over the place. Rams were penalized over 9 times. Seahawks were penalized over 10 times heading into the fourth quarter. It seemed like every other play had a penalty when you've got 20-plus penalties in a single game. And on top of that, just questionable interference by the referees. A little bit of a rant from a Rams fan here, but at the end of the game, Geno Smith got hurt. They played their backup quarterback for like 2 or 3 drives. Nothing was really happening. Drew Lock is not very good. Geno Smith comes in at the end of the game because they need a last-minute drive to get in the field goal range and kick it. Geno Smith dumps off a pass to the running back, catches it, tackled, no problem. For some reason, the referees thought, looks like maybe he didn't catch it. Let's go ahead and review that. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, reviewing a play under 2 minutes means that the referees are choosing to do it. The ref isn't throwing his cute little red challenge flag. It stops the clock. Seahawks have had no timeouts. That's a benefit for the Rams. But because they do that on such a dumb asinine play, they're basically given a free timeout. So while the refs are over there looking in their little TV trying to figure out, was it a catch? We know it was a catch. Duh, it was. The Seahawks are getting 2, 3, 4 minutes to talk about the next play. That's a huge advantage. It's just a weird scenario, weird play of events. Kind of put the cherry on top of an ugly game penalty-wise. And on top of that, kind of, again, cherry on top of what has been an ugly season refereeing. I think it's the most penalized season of all time in NFL. They're just in the game every 2 minutes. Very frustrating. I'm very happy the Rams won. Snuck away with that one. 4-6 feels a lot better than 3-7. I told you last week the season will be over. I'm here to tell you the Rams are going to make the playoffs. God damn it. We're 4-6, and look out for us now. We're coming behind Minnesota and Seattle for one of those 2 last wild card spots. Love to see it happen. The Rams have the Cardinals next. They got to go down to Arizona. Little scary game because you got little toddler Kyler Murray running around. Cue up the Flintstones running music. That should be a very exciting game because Kyler Murray's an exciting player, and I'm hoping that the Rams' health can keep getting better and that it's not an ugly game like this one is. I'm going to predict the Rams are going to win this one 26-24. I think it's another nail biter at the end because they can't win pretty whatsoever. Raiders. What are we going to do with you guys? Such an interesting team. Raiders, no dice, no gravy. That's all I could come up with for the topic for you guys. Played a very good game. This came down to the end with a turnover in the fourth quarter by quarterback Aiden O'Connell, who looks like Rod Farver from Super Troopers. But he did look like a rookie. There was a lot of drives that sputtered out because of missed passes, missed reads, overthrows, interceptions, both by Jalen Ramsey. That's a huge rookie move. When you're unsure or you're unconfident in some of these throws and you're taking some risks, the last place you want to take a risk is against the defense's best player in Jalen Ramsey. He made him pay for it with those 2 Sports Center worthy interceptions. One was a diving catch over the middle. The other one was a leaping, diving, falling, almost break his sternum, landing on the ball interception to end the game. Jalen Ramsey's not the one. Don't do that. Don't do that shit. He'll learn from it. But I said it last week. He's a rookie. He's going to make mistakes. He shows flashes. He had a big touchdown to Davante Adams earlier. Davante Adams has been solid. But with inconsistent quarterback play, you are going to get games like this. What's super hopeful, though, regardless of how you put it, I know a loss is a loss and it stings. I get it. But the fact that the Raiders played well against the Dolphins are regarded as a top 4 team in the AFC. Even if the Dolphins, what is it? The negative on them is, they don't play well against good teams. They only play well against bad teams. Well, the Raiders played well against them. Or even if that narrative is true and the Dolphins didn't play well because the Raiders are a good team, doesn't matter how you cut the pie, it's still a pie. The pie is saying not only is it pumpkin pie, but the Raiders are playing like a good team. Like their defense, outside of Tyreek Hill and a few spurts from Jalen Waddle, I'm not worried about that. You can't stop Tyreek Hill. Like you can throw Tyreek Hill in the water and he's still gonna be faster than everybody else and get open. Like it doesn't matter. So I'm not worried about that. What really held the Raiders back this week, like I said, you got a rookie quarterback. That's tough. That's going to spot the other team a few points every single week. And on top of that, you don't have a true coach. I know it's been fun and dandy with Antonio Pierce. I like the guy too. But I said at some point, the chips are going to fall. The gravy's going to spill. That silver is going to rub off a little bit. It may be silver plated. Maybe it's not full through and through silver and black. But it's tough to game plan with some sort of consistency and get better and evolve throughout the season with an interim coach. Don't lose faith, though. I think they're playing way better than they would have with Josh McDaniels still. I think Antonio Pierce is in a position to help this team keep learning, keep growing. They've got a good culture brewing. This team fought. And on top of that, the biggest highlight for Raiders fans, I think Max Crosby had 2 sacks. If you did not watch the premiere of Hard Knocks for the Dolphins that came out, I think, last night on Tuesday, they had a huge 10-minute segment just on Max Crosby. It was kind of cool. They were super worried about him. He still went out and performed and had a big game. Max Crosby continues to perform and show he's a defensive MVP candidate. I hope he wins it. He's actually, if you watched 3 weeks ago, I did the midseason awards. He's my MVP on the defensive side. I hope he gets it. The biggest thing I take away from that, like I said, Dolphins are a top 4 team in the AFC. They're very, very good. Raiders play them extremely well. Just unfortunate rookie mistakes. I see the Raiders kind of bouncing back from those. They got the Chiefs this week. Don't count the Raiders out in this one. I actually don't know how to pick this game, if I'm being honest. I don't think any home field advantage matters. I think this rivalry is one of the best rivalries in the league. There's a lot of shit talking that happens in this one. It's good for the culture. It's good for the league. I don't know how to pick it. I think ultimately I am going to side with the Chiefs here just because I typically don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. But I can see Antonio Pierce pulling a rabbit out of his ass and getting these guys fired up to play extremely well because, I mean, the Chiefs are not playing like Super Bowl contenders right now. They've got issues with drops. Raiders can get frisky, get a turnover or two. You don't know what happens. So I'm willing to be wrong on this one, but I am going to take the Chiefs looking ahead for the Raiders next week. I say Chiefs somewhere around 24-20. But if I'm wrong, I hope I am. And I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. And that does it, ladies and gentlemen. We just finished up our Thanksgiving episode. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Like I said, I am really thankful for you guys, as this is just a weird hobby for me that I just want to get my ego out and be a football nerd. But if this is your guys' first week here checking out the Thanksgiving episode, the reason for this was because I wanted nerds and noobs alike to go ahead and enjoy this podcast. Normally every week we have something new that we try to teach the newcomers of football, because I want you guys to love the sport as much as I do. Take a look at my studio. Got a lot of love for the sport in a very nerdy, geeky way. That being said, I'm thankful for you guys. Thank you for tuning in every single week. Hope my numbers can keep growing, which means I'm doing something right for you guys. Like and subscribe. Tell your mom. Tell your grandma. Tell someone to follow and listen. And until next week, I hope you guys eat a lot of food. I hope we all come back here 5 pounds heavier. See you guys next week. Enjoy your football.